So my buddy Massive Horror put up a video last week talking about how a guy saw a demon face. Demon face is this idea that there's a new syndrome going around, from what they say, that makes people see people's faces as if they were demons. Now this story came out on every major news media outlet. Everyone. They all ran the same story. Prior to the eclipse they were doing this. And I think because they felt maybe something about the eclipse was going to jostle the veil a little bit more. And a lot of people the next day after the eclipse like, nothing happened, but it's like, no, it was the beginning of something. And I always said that too. It's like, I don't think there's going to be an apocalyptic kind of event. It's going to be the beginning, a marker of the beginning of something. And indeed, a lot of stuff has been going on. You get that Antarctica thing that has appeared on the maps, and then it vanished, and it's moving around up there. And now there's, all kinds of different weird things that have been happening. And my idea was, or my thought was, what would happen is it would be like the beginning of a rollout of stuff. Hold on a second. Alright, sorry, I had to get the cigarette out going there. But yeah, it's going to be, it's a marker for the beginning. I mean, they're trying to do all these other, they're doing the red heifer thing now too. The thing, it goes back to the question, like, does it count if they're creating the environment for the end times? Like, it seems like they're following a script of what is needed to bring about the end of days. And I would say, yeah, because it doesn't matter how it's done, they're doing it. Maybe they're the ones that were doing it to begin with, We talked about the possibility that a lot of this is scripted. A lot of our reality is on some kind of weird script, whether it's the script plate machine in Antarctica or it's something else. They're following some kind of thing. Well, in the case of Revelation, they're following the Bible. It's like, okay, we need this, we need that. They still need to do the zombie thing. As for the red heifers, making the rounds again, the news, and the significance of that with the third temple. They need that third temple, but they had to get rid of the Palestinians first, and I don't think they've done that yet. I think they're trying, but I don't really know what's going on there. You don't get the real story. Like, they had that the Iron Shield thing that they were saying when they got the missile attack, that they hit 99% of the missiles, and that's not true, because there's footage of them coming in. And again, even though there's countries attacking each other, they're really just on the same, they're all on the same side. This is just for show. It's the world stage, it's theater, to be able to continue doing what they do and farm us more efficiently. But yeah, it was the guy that saw the demon there, the demon face. He was a delivery guy, and it was just the dude that was on his regular route, I guess. I think it's for car parts, maybe. I don't know why I think that, but and then when he showed up at this guy's place that he normally goes to deliver stuff, he turned around to say hi to him or something when he came in. And he said he just stopped in his tracks. He said the guy had black eyes, and his ears looked pointed, kind of like how they show in those pictures. So I haven't heard, I don't think there's any other thing that I've caught anyway. I haven't heard any other stories like that. But he did a TikTok video about it, and he's pretty freaked out. And I don't know, watching it, like, I kind of believe him. Like, I think he's telling the truth. Sometimes it's a frequency thing. You just get the vibe, like, this person's full of shit, this person's telling the truth. I think regardless of what happened, he believes he saw this experience. He didn't alert the guy that he was seeing anything. He was just like, oh yeah, I'm not feeling good, because the guy saw these startled him. And he's like, oh, they're scary, you know? And he's looking at me, he's like a fucking monster. And he's like, no, I just don't feel good. And he split. And then went and did that TikTok video after. I don't know. I mean, it's just, again, it's some guy on the internet. But I'd be interested to see if there's any more stories like this that start making the rounds. The problem with demon base is it requires me to look at people's faces. And I've said many times over the years that, like, I try to avoid looking at people's faces because usually they're looking at yours. And then you know, a lot of people want to play eye footsies with you, and I hate doing that shit. So whenever I'm in like a crowd or a lot of people around here, I do it all the time. I'm always looking at a point beyond the people I'm around. Like I'm always looking like down, as if I'm looking down the street. Or, you know, around here, what I do, especially around these streets, is I look at the second floor of every building. That's where my eye line is. Just so I don't get caught up in that, like, staring contest type of things that you get. People just, a lot, well, not all people, but there's a good amount of people that just kind of want your attention. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I know people, I've had someone in the comments saying, what is it, because you're so enchanting? Maybe, I don't know. I mean, maybe you're not so good looking and people don't like to look at you. I don't know what that's like. So for me, a lot of times I have a thing where it's like if I look up or look in any direction, I'm locking eyes with someone. So I try to keep my eye line away. But the thing with that is, it doesn't help me with the demon face thing because I don't look at people's faces. You know, I'm always aware of who's around me. You know, I have the onboard security system that kind of lets me know who is around me and where. You know, it starts going off like whoop, 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 you know. Like just there, like back there was going on. It's a good thing you couldn't see that guy. But yeah, it's weird too. Like I didn't know, like I didn't see him, but as I was saying that, it was going on. But anyway, yeah. So I don't like to look at people's faces, you know. Especially if I'm filming and stuff. I like to not stick the camera in people's faces. If they walk in front of me or something, then there's nothing I can do about that. But so how I used to find them in the past is usually the noise. They make a lot of noise, demons, when they're in the body of an individual. Because what it is it's like a frequency, right? They're their own kind of frequency. And it's like when you have a radio and you're trying to get a station in, and depending on where you are, it's either coming in clear or it's coming in broken up. Like if you're in a stairwell, perhaps, or something like that, it's not coming in well. So what they're doing is they're trying to get in the body and get their frequency to come in, you know? So it's a lot like, and they just, you know, so they do a lot of that stuff. And I can usually hear them, because a lot of times they're screaming too, because they don't know how to control vocal cords. They don't, you know, there's things about how demons, when their bodies, you overexert people. Like I told the story before, downtown Chinatown, tattoo artist was off work, sitting across from his tattoo shop, having dinner, and he saw this homeless woman just climb the side of the building like a fucking spider. There's a little bit more of a story. The cops showed up and they tried to get her, and she was gone by the time they got in, but she was raving and going on beforehand. So to me, it's like, you know, demonic possession there. Especially, she was an old sort of homeless woman, so perfect target for them, you know. But they don't know really what the limitations of a human body are. So when they get inside them, they overexert them. And, you know, they could hurt the people. That you hear a lot of stories like that from priests who have done exorcisms. They always try to keep the possessed person from hurting themselves. You know, they try to do a lot of self-harm stuff. yeah, so it's a good thing in a way because it would make my job easier trying to find them. But I gotta figure out how to look at people's faces without looking at their faces. I'm hoping that maybe, I don't know, but I was just thinking like, oh yeah, when you're around them, you kind of feel something, but I don't usually feel them until I realize what they are. It's weird. I don't have that psychic kind of demon sense. Some people do. Some people know when they're around, you know. I really don't. I haven't developed anything. I don't know how you would develop something like that. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting that we have a guy now that was saying he's had that experience. And I'm trying to find other people like this, if anybody else. And I've done some searches, just basic, like, you know, normie sort of Google searches. And I haven't come up with anything yet. If anybody sees anyone else reporting this kind of thing, let me know. I mean, they told us for a reason. You know, they put it out there for a reason. And like I was saying before, I think what they're worried about the eclipse, something about it jostling the veil. Their veil is the same technology. Well, it's all the same system, basically, without breaking it down. So it's all kind of falling apart. So a lot of the stuff that's tied to it is coming down at once. Now it's I don't know what it is. Some kind of technology we don't understand, or magic, or combination of both. But whatever it is, they used to siphon our energy to then create this, what we see around us, is the same thing they do to keep the veil up. Now you also kind of have your own personal veil that's just surrounds you. Those are, the Bible calls them the scales over the eyes. That's a separate thing from the veil that they have. Now, that's just my theory, that scales on the eyes you're talking about is actually your own kind of personal veil. It's a perception that you have too. But it doesn't matter because they're both all falling apart. They're both all breaking down at the same time. And I suspect it's just overuse. You know, they've been doing this for a long time on a big scale. Who knows how many resets we've had before this? You know, you don't know. I remember when I first started looking into that stuff, the idea that there was a reset was like, wow. Now it's like, the more you look into it, it's like, well, no, there's multiple ones of these. Some of these buildings that are here were from before the last reset. So I don't know. But the good thing is their shit is breaking down. You know, we've never had this kind of stuff happen before. And there's astrologists that will tell you, not astrologists, the people that, not the Brian May people, the hippie chick people. Not astrologists, not astronomers. You'd think I would know a lot about that kind of stuff, but that's just the fucking one of, you can't know everything, you know? You can't study everything. But they've been saying that astrologically, that we are in a time that's unprecedented history, in the sense that we're at the end of an age and the end of a cycle at the same time. And this is something that has never happened before, according to them. But that could be partially why everything's breaking down. But the shit's breaking down. If the shit wasn't breaking down, they wouldn't be putting that kind of demon face report on CNN, Fox, and New York Times, and USA, and everything. I mean, can you imagine something like that coming out? Like, you know, I think of when I was a kid or a teenager in the 80s and the 90s, like, you know, well, I was an adult in the 90s, but seeing that in the newspaper, I'd be like, what the fuck are they talking about? Yeah, actually we had papers back then. Like, what do you mean? Some of you might start seeing demons everywhere. Just so you know, it's a condition. A new one that we made up just for this article. So they know, of course, that their shit's breaking down. And is it a consequence of maybe what's happening with the end times kind of idea, the end times plan, the returning of Jesus Christ? I don't know, it probably all ties in together. It's probably a little bit of column A and B and C and D and whatever letter comes after that. It's going across the street? No, I don't trust these people. I don't trust them. I mean, yeah, it should be okay to go. In probably any other major city, I would. But here, nah. Should I fuck with Dave and talk about the... No, I'm not gonna say. Yeah, it's not great. But yeah, they're on this Fred Harper thing going on now in the building of the third temple. It's like they're following a script laid out by Revelation. And yeah, they're forcing it to happen. But if the end result is that it happens, then, you know, how do we know it didn't force it to happen the time before? If you read Revelation, the way it's written, to me anyway, is it feels like events being described that already happened. I mean, it's not something that this will happen. Or it's like someone describing what they're seeing. They described something that has happened before. And maybe has happened, you know, several times. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, so far no demon faces. I'd like to be able to see some, because it would make things easier than walking around listening all the time. But yeah, I gotta figure out a way to do that so that I'm not staring at everybody. Walking around just looking at people's faces all day. And gotta keep an eye out in the news, kind of looking to see if anybody else are having experiences like this. That guy that came out with his stuff was on TikTok. And when I say news, of course, it's not going to be like the media's not going to carry a story like that. It would have to be, you know, something like TikTok or YouTube. I don't know if I've heard this talked about on X. I'm sure it has. I haven't stopped by there a lot lately. Because, like, I go in there, like, I just go by X, and it's like, I feel like I'm the substitute teacher or something. You know, I see someone talking about something, it's like, no, that's not right. Here's how it is. And then I'm just doing that all the time. I want to learn stuff. You know, I want to explain things to people. I mean, I don't mind doing that, but that's kind of all I do there. Because, like, and I read some stuff, and it's like, it feels like sometimes, like, they know the answer, or the people that are working these threads, because of course there's feds there too. But they'll talk about real obvious shit. They're almost trying to, like, bait people that do know out to perhaps see, I don't know, to perhaps figure out who knows what. Because they can get all your information if they want it. But, so I'm very careful about how I, you know, talk about things. But you have to be that way everywhere. You know, it's just how it is. I mean, I've known that from the very beginning about the internet. If they want, there's no anonymity online. That's fucking crazy talk. Let's get over toward the house. Almost home. Yeah. So if I do catch some demon faces, I'll get on here right away and be talking about it. Of course, obviously. And until next time, thanks for dropping by. And don't blame the teacher. Blame the school. Say hi, Nia.